Hi guys, Josh Lloyd here for your NBA First Look for DraftKings for Thursday, the last day before the All-Star break. There are 9 games on. Let's talk about those 9 games right now. All right, so the first one we could take a look at here, we're looking at the Clippers and the Washington Wizards. We don't know whether Kawhi Leonard is going to play. He is currently listed as questionable for the Clippers. Obviously, that's not ideal. We'd love to know. Hopefully, we know closer to tip-off than we did last time when Reggie Jackson took his spot in the lineup. 9,100 for Kawhi is a pretty good price. I would be surprised if he plays, though. Just in one game before the All-Star break, I think they might sit him out. The center rotation for the Wizards, the prices are low. 3,300 for Mo Wagner, 3,500 for Robin Lopez. You're probably $0 for Alex Len. You just can't trust any of it because of the way that Scott Brooks runs his rotation. It's almost impossible to have any value there. I do like the idea of putting Paul George in, though. 8,600 is good as it is. And then if Kawhi is out, I think that value improves pretty significantly. While Bradley Beal's been a little bit down lately, especially the last game. I still think at 9,900, though, Beal is a really good option. While Westbrook is more expensive than Beal, yes, he's averaging 54 over the last 5 games. He's playing at a higher level now, Russ. I can see using Westbrook as not a bad option. I'd still probably spend down and get George and spend down and get Beal than spend up to use Russ Westbrook. Reggie Jackson, sub 4,000. Now, he had an absolutely huge game last time out without Kawhi. I don't think I trust that. He shot 71% from the field. He played 37 minutes. He had 40 DraftKings points. I don't think that's going to stick. But at sub 4,000, if we do hear news that Kawhi is out, that makes a lot of sense. And because this is the first game of the day, I think we can find some value there. I don't like looking at Bertans or Hachimura or really even Lou Williams, Nick Batum, none of those guys there. The Serge Ibaka at 48 has a level of appeal. He can be a 25-point guy pretty easily. And I think that could be an option for us here. Let's go. Next game, it is a back-to-back here for the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics. Things did not go particularly well for the Raptors in their matchup against the Pistons on Wednesday, and they're going to be dealing with the same cast of characters with no OG Anunoby, no Fred VanVleet, no Pascal Siakam. They're going to go back to starting Watanabe and Terrence Davis and Aaron Baines. That seemed like a horrendous combination. Turns out it was a horrendous combination. But let's see exactly what they do here. Rob Williams at 4,600. 22 minutes last game. He put up 35 DraftKings points. He's averaging 32 over his last 3 games, and he's at 4,600. I like that. I like that one quite a bit. I think we can go back to the Terrence Davis well. He wasn't great today, but he's at 3,700. He took a lot of shots. They just didn't go in. And if we do hear in advance that he is starting, which we should before the lineup's locked, because this is the early game, then there might be some value there in Terry Davis. Jason Tatum's at 92. Really can't get anything cracking at the moment. I'm not super keen there. While Lowry at 84 absolutely is one that I'm into. He is going to be taking a lot of shots and should we get enough value there. And then Norman Powell at 7,000, another guy who's going to take an absolute shit ton of shot attempts. Daniel Tice at 51, no thank you. While Chris Boucher's at 66. Now, they're just not playing him enough minutes. Now, he had a big game against Detroit, but I believe he was a team worst in the plus-minus column. I think minus 20. That is not ideal, especially when you should be one of the best 2 or 3 players on your squad. I don't mind it. I probably wouldn't be using it. Kemba's playing well. He's at 7,200. I'd be totally okay with using Kemba Walker here as well. While I don't know whether they go back to Watanabe or they start Donre Bembry or Stan Johnson, there are a lot of ways the Raptors can move, and those other ones, they're not particularly exciting in terms of where the value potentially lies. The next game is those Detroit Pistons. They take on the Knicks. Few question marks here. Josh Jackson and Jeremy Grant both missed out on Wednesday's game. And Derrick Rose missed the Knicks last game. Now, the absences or if those guys play does change quite a bit. Of course, if Jackson and Grant are out, you get more minutes for guys like Mikhailuk. You get more minutes for guys like, or more shot attempts, hopefully, for guys like Sadiq Bey. It didn't really pan out that way on Wednesday. Some more minutes for Doumbaya. Some more opportunities for Wayne Ellington. If Derrick Rose is out, you got your Quickleys and you got your Ntilikina who get the boost there. But I think regardless of status of those players, Dennis Smith Jr. at 4,800, triple-double on Wednesday. No worries. I'm happily using him. I think with Alfred Payton doubtful, if we do hear that Derrick Rose plays, he is in action with 4,900. If he is out, then we're looking at Emmanuel Quickly at 5,300. I wouldn't want to use Rose and Quickly together, though, just the uncertainty with Thibodeau's rotation. 9,600 for the double royal Julius Randle is a lot, obviously, but he's putting up good numbers, and you feel pretty safe for him being a 40, 45-point player. Jeremy Grant's at 74. I'd leave that alone. Josh Jackson at 61 off an illness. Probably not. The Duke Wayne Ellington at 3,400. If we do hear that Jackson's out, I'd be happy to go back to Ellington at that level of salary. And same with McKay Luke at 3,100. So if you played Svi, once you heard that he was starting with that news on Wednesday, I reckon you'd be pretty happy with the performance that he put in that matchup. The Denver Nuggets and the Indiana Pacers. Another team on a back-to-back, that is the Indiana Pacers here in this one after a come-from-behind victory against the Cavs. The Nuggets are 4-point favorites and the total is 225.5 points. Big Chungus Nikola Jokic, he's the one that we're always looking at, and it's sub 10,000. How the hell do you avoid it? Like, he is amazing. Look at this. Look what he's averaging. Look at these numbers. 62 over his last 6 games. 75, 77, 61. He's actually unstoppable. Now, if there's a team that can stop him, is it maybe the Pacers? Perhaps, but I wouldn't want to bet against him. He's averaging 71 in his last 3. No Millsap, no Green, no Gary Harris. Michael Porter will start at power forward again. Now, last game he played 25 minutes and had 25 DraftKings points. Got into foul trouble. So that should push up to 32 minutes, 33 minutes. Maybe it's 35 DraftKings points. I'm okay with using Porter, although I understand that people have been burnt by him a million times already this year. Brogdon's at 8,000. It's okay. Well, Sabonis at 9,800 probably is a little bit on the high side for me. I'm okay with Will Barton as well. 5,500. He's going to get opportunities. He's going to get minutes with the banged up nature of this squad. And then I guess you could have a look at someone like PJ Dozier, who got a ton of opportunities against the Bucks off the bench. He's at 3,400. Now, he didn't put up great DraftKings numbers, 24 points, but at 3,400, that's not a bad result. The headmaster Jamal Murray is at 8,500. I think that's bordering on too high for me. And then you got Timothy John McConnell, the triple-double man with steals. He had 63 fantasy points. That's a lot. Do I believe that Timothy John McConnell is a 60-point fantasy player? No. If I did, you'd have permission to unsubscribe to this channel. McConnell is probably more of a 30-point guy, 32-point guy maybe. I wouldn't feel super comfortable about putting him in at 6,000 and expecting him to smash value. Let's phrase it that way. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks. They were embarrassed in their last game, and they get to take on the Memphis Grizzlies here, who had a pretty big victory over the Washington Wizards. The Bucks are 6-point favorites. The total is 235. The big, I guess, unknown here is we don't know what Drew Holiday's status will be. We know he'll play, but will he start? Will he play 30 minutes? Will he play 20 minutes? Because he's played 18 minutes in his first 2 games back from COVID. For Memphis, Kyle Anderson is no longer in the injury report. He missed last game due to an illness, so that'll push Brandon Clark to the bench, while Grayson Allen remains out with a concussion. So Bane and Melton are going to be the biggest beneficiaries there. Brooke Lopez is at 4,300, and even though that price is nice, I don't feel good about using him. He just can't give it to us. While Gianni Antetokounmpo is at 11,000. Yeah, that's great. I'd probably rather Jokic, but I do like Antetokounmpo there. DraftKings has responded to Ja Morant's game last time out. Said, screw you blokes, we are dropping an extra $800 on his head. He had 59 against the Wizards, so he's at 7,800. I still don't mind it. I still like him here, but I don't feel as confident as I have in the past. While DeAnthony Melton, no Grayson Allen, he's at 4,700. This dude is averaging 33 points in his last 3 games. So yeah, I feel pretty good about using him here. Chris Middleton's up to 84. We can do better. Doing better is not Justice Winslow, and doing better is not Dante DiVincenzo. While Jonas Valanciunas at 7,500 is also probably just a little bit risky. If you want to go for a flyer type, Desi Bane will probably get another start, and he could be a 25-point player. He could also be a 15-point player, but there is a little bit of upside there in Des Bane. Next game, Miami, New Orleans. The Pelicans are on a back-to-back here. Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler are both listed as questionable. Now, those absences are going to have impacts on guys like Precious Achiuwa if Bam misses, Kelly Olynyk if Bam misses, and then Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Hero if Jimmy Butler misses. For the Pelicans, Josh the Hitman Hart, he's at 4,900. He hasn't been executing quite as excellently as he had been in the past. I don't mind it, but I'm not fully in on it. It is a back-to-back for the Pelicans, so just bear that in mind. 8-3 for Ingram is okay. I'm not 100% sold. I am 100% sold on Zion at 9,300, even though the Heat defense maybe gives us a level of pause there. Adebayo's at 8,800, not interested in that, while Hero at 6,100 also comes in, probably a little bit high. I'd be much more interested in using Goran Dragic at 59, and his value improves significantly if Jim Butler does happen to be sidelined. I'm also pretty in on Lonzo Ball. He's playing at a high level. He's at 7,100. He can be a 36, 38, 40-point guy really easily. He's averaging, in fact, 37 points over his last 5 games. So I do think Lonzo is an option for us here. Next one is the Thunder. It's the Spurs. It's another team with a back-to-back. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on that back-to-back. So what does that mean? It means no Al Horford. Almost definitely. I'd be pretty surprised if we saw Horf play. No Derek White, no Devin Vassell, no Rudy Gay for San Antonio, while LaMarcus Aldridge is questionable with a sore tummy. Luka Šamanić, 3,300. He dropped 28 last game. Now, I'd probably be more hesitant in using Šamanić unless we hear that Aldridge is out. I thought he started to really improve here, Šamanić, and that's some good value. Jakob Poeltl's at 6,200, probably more cash, but a solid cash play nonetheless, especially if Aldridge is out. While 7,900 for DeJounte Murray, with the absences of Derek White in particular, that does help DeJounte. Gilgeous-Alexander's at 9,000, feels a little bit too high for me. Not interested in Maledon or Lou Dort at 5,200 there. Isaiah Roby's at 54. I think you've always got to at least include him in your player pool when Al Horford sits. I like that quite a bit for him, and I also like DeMar DeRozan at 8,200. DeRozan's sort of taken on a default point guard role because DeJounte's not a very good passer. The next game, the Golden State Warriors, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are 5.5-point favorites here. The Warriors are on a back-to-back. Kelly Oubre missed Wednesday's game. Whether he plays in Thursday's game has yet to be determined. They started Kent Bazemore over him on Wednesday. 6,800 for DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, I don't feel particularly comfortable about using Ayton here. Well, Dario Saric, 3,900 for Saric. Yes, please. He is a high usage role as the second unit center. He is averaging 25 over the last 3 games and sub 4,000. That's really good. McCall Bridges at 54. I think he's got cash appeal. And then if some defensive stats come in big numbers, he'll smash that for tournaments. I like him in both formats. Booker probably won't be ejected in this one. He's at 8,100, so I'm okay with throwing him in there as well. And you got Steph. Now, the worry with Steph here is the back-to-back, so that will probably lead me to fade him. Not interested in Wiseman, not interested in Draymond, not interested in Oubre, and not particularly interested in Andrew Wiggins. That's the player. The last game is the Sacramento Kings. They are taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Back-to-backs here for both of these squads. No Tyrese Halliburton for Sacramento. There'll be no Harry Giles, I imagine, for Portland. The Blazers are 5-point favorites. The total is 238 points here. Dame Lillard's at 10-7. The back-to-back is probably the only reason I wouldn't consider Lillard an option here, but even then I still consider him somewhat of an option because both of these teams are on back-to-back, so no one's getting the significant rest advantage. Rashawn Holmes at 64, probably a little bit too high, while Bagley at 67, I don't mind that with Halliburton out. He does get a bit of a boost in that situation. So while it feels high, it's not something to completely avoid, and the same goes with Harrison Barnes at 7,100. Some pretty good numbers there. Carmelo Anthony and Robert Covington had absolutely monster games on Monday. I'm not sure that I fully trust them at their elevated salary to go full investing in those guys for this matchup against Sacramento. All right, let's look at some early value plays. I like Šamanić, Ibaka, Rob Williams, Jokic, Josh the Hitman Hart, Dennis Smith, Brandon Ingram, Šarić, Yanni, Ja Morant, Boucher, Lillard, Jakob Poeltl. I think those guys come in looking okay for this slate. Best of luck for your last slate before the All-Star game. Have a good break, unless you're going to go play you're going to play All-Star DFS or whatever nonsense you do. I won't be doing that, but you might be going to do that, so good luck if you do that. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, give a thumbs up, leave comments down below, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.